The Jehovah's Witnesses used to claim to be the fastest growing religion in the world. However, figures show they are actually experiencing a very steep decline. Let's talk about it. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to my channel. My name is Monica for those who are new, and if you are a returning subby, welcome back. Guys, as always, I've made notes, so let's get into the video. Now, before we get into the specific reasons why I think the Jehovah's Witnesses are experiencing a decline, I actually want us to all start on a baseline where we understand the figures. And some people complain that I speak too fast, so I'm going to try my hardest to speak a bit slower. I hope you guys can keep up. So the Jehovah's Witnesses have been reporting annual baptism figures since 1995. And when we look at those figures, we can actually see a trend. And I want you guys to notice some notable data points. In 1995, they reported 338,000 baptisms. And then in 1997, it moved up to 375,000 baptisms, which actually marked a peak for them during this period. However, post 1997, a decline of approximately 30% in annual baptisms has been seen with the Jehovah's Witnesses, and they've been averaging around 250,000 baptisms per year. Now let's move on to monthly hours. From September 2004 to August 2017, monthly hours per publisher actually steadily increased, with only two minor dips where they recovered by September 2016. The peak hours reported was just under 21 hours per month from September 2017 to August 2018. Guys, I have never reported that many hours. 20 hours? Oh my goodness. I think the most I've ever reported was maybe 14 or 15, and that was an amazing month, I must say. But since starting September 2018, hours have drastically declined and they have not returned to peak levels since then. And that probably explains as to why they no longer report hours anymore, because they could see the figures have become embarrassing. Now, in the last 5 years, between 2020 and 2023, the numbers of baptisms has actually plummeted by 50%. And in 2024, they reported around 300,000 new baptized members, which sounds great, and hey, they actually picked up, but these numbers are actually lower than the figures reported in 1995, 20 years ago. That is crazy. And not to mention people who are leaving, dying, and becoming inactive. The merging of congregations, selling of kingdom halls, changes in doctrines, and hours not being reported all point to the decline of memberships within the Jehovah's Witnesses. It is clear to see that this religion is, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, dying out. Now let's get into the specific reasons as to why I think this is taking place. So firstly, they have an issue with an aging population. A lot of Jehovah's Witnesses are actually kind of old. They are senior citizens, they are pensioners, and because of that, they are not as productive and able to, recruit people like they used to before into the organization. And sadly, some of them are also dying. Last year, I did do a video detailing specifically which countries the Jehovah's Witnesses are experiencing a decline and an increase in memberships. And guys, most countries are actually experiencing a decline, like a lot of countries. When I was even doing research, I realized that where they say they are actually experiencing an increase, it's probably where they are actually not being so truthful when it comes to their numbers, meaning that they are counting peak numbers or peak amounts of people who were at their congregations, and also including members who are not active. So it is quite safe to say that the Jehovah's Witnesses are definitely not growing, and number one, they have an issue with an aging population. At number two, which includes me as well, born-ins are leaving. We do not resonate with this religion. For me, as someone who grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, I never made the truth my own. For me, I could not resonate with this religion, and I really tried, guys. I honestly went to field service. I tried to have Bible students. I tried to, feel like God can work through me, but I never got there. I honestly never resonated with going to field service. When I came back from field service, I never felt rejuvenated and like, oh my gosh, I did something good. I always felt so exhausted. And if I went to house and we didn't find people, I was so excited and happy. Or if I had a Bible student and they just started flaking on me, I was happy because I just never resonated with this religion. And I think also as born-ins, we are disillusioned. As someone who grew up in this religion, we don't really glorify its members. We don't see them as, oh my gosh, these people are so holy, these people are so good. We've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly in this religion. We literally grew up in it. So we know how evil some of these members can be, and we've seen how destructive the religion can be to someone's life. So as born-ins, we are very much disillusioned to this idea of the Jehovah's Witnesses and what a great group of people they are. Because yes, there are good people within the religion, but the religion itself and some members are very dangerous and destructive. And some of us maybe just wanted to try out new things and forge a life on our own terms. Like, it's so important to be authentic to yourself. Last week I did a video talking about authenticity and how authenticity can really help you to reclaim your power. And authenticity, in my eyes, I've realized is very important to people who are born into the religion of the Jehovah's Witnesses. We were raised to be something completely different to who we were as people. People always try to mold us to be very spiritual, meek, humble, all of these things as Jehovah's Witnesses or as children who grew up within the Jehovah's Witness community. So forging your own life, being authentic, and just doing your own thing, I've realized is very important for born-ins, people who haven't really got to experience anything else. So yes, this does lead to people leaving. A lot of born-ins do end up leaving the Jehovah's Witnesses, and I think that is a telltale sign of this religion not being what it claims to be. If people who grow up in this religion say, guys, this is not good, this is dangerous, maybe we should listen to them. At number 3, the promotion of centering the religion heavily backfired on the Jehovah's Witnesses. Let me explain. If you have been a Jehovah's Witness for a long time, especially in previous years, they really promoted being single or promoted not having children if you were married or in a couple. And they wanted people to really center the religion, to go to Bethel, Gilead, and become missionaries to recruit more people. However, these people never had children, so they never repopulated the organization. They centered the religion and didn't think ahead or about the future because they wanted to have children when? In paradise. While now the religion needs children because people are dying out, people are leaving, and they are not repopulating the organization at the same rate of people leaving or dying. So centering the religion heavily backfired on the Jehovah's Witnesses, and I think they didn't account for that. At number 4, it's Gen Z and Millennials, my favorite generations. We as Millennials and Gen Zs are having a hard time meeting our needs. I think all of us can relate to this, that no matter which part of the world you are from, it has become harder and harder to meet your personal needs. Needs like food, shelter, clothing, all of these things have become harder and harder to obtain because of inflation, corruption, job scarcity, and just many other issues that are affecting us on a global scale. Now, because of this, we have realized that education is very important for you to have a good life and just a proper job where you can meet your needs. Being educated is very important, especially as we have stepped into a digital age. So Gen Z and Millennials, who are also Jehovah's Witnesses, have realized that, hey, maybe not going to school is not such a great idea. Maybe you have to prioritize your education to make sure that you can actually survive and live on this planet, this floating rock, this prison. I'm kidding. But it has become harder and harder just to survive on this planet. So being educated is no longer a luxury. It is a need for most people. So if you're part of a religion that is discouraging you from being educated because they want to exert more control over you, then maybe it's not so smart being part of it. And also having access to information. I don't think the Jehovah's Witnesses thought the internet would do what it did for them, because now we can literally just watch a YouTube video and learn more about them. You could literally just do a quick Google search and find articles about them and how children are being harmed. Access to information has really exposed the Jehovah's Witnesses, and understanding how actually things work in this world has really opened our eyes. We now truly understand what the purpose of religion actually is and what it does to a person and how it affects your life long term. I just want to quickly say something, and not everyone will agree with me, but especially for Black people or people of color, your oppressor will never liberate you. Your oppressor will never tell you the truth. And your oppressor will definitely never teach you the truth about a God who is supposedly loving and caring about you. Because where was this God when you were suffering? Where was this God when you were going through the most? I'm not saying you shouldn't believe in God. I'm not saying God doesn't exist. What I'm saying is, if you do believe in God and you do want to have a relationship with God, it is very much important to forge that relationship on your own terms. And if possible, align it with your own traditions and your own culture. The more you deviate away from your culture and your traditions, the more people are able to control you and tell you toxic and negative narratives about where you come from as a person. I'm saying this because as a millennial and someone who grew up on the internet, and I've learned so much about just religion and its purpose and just global politics, guys, religion is there to subdue you. Religion is there to control you. Religion is there to take away your power. What did your ancestors do? Do not demonize them because someone came and told you these people were demonic, these people were bad. Do not believe it. Reclaim your power, reclaim your old way of life, and mix it in with how you are living life right now. I'm not saying you should completely forsake how you are living or worshiping God, but what I'm saying is, do not forsake your way of life because someone has told you it's demonic, especially someone who does not look like you. At number 5, and the last point, is scandals and reputation, guys. The reputation of the Jehovah's Witnesses is really tarnished. And what's interesting, guys, is that the Jehovah's Witnesses, when you look them up online or on social media, you don't actually find a lot of articles that speak negatively about them, to be honest. Like, yes, you do find them, but it's not mainstream. But I want to explain to you guys why their reputation is still so tarnished. Quickly, just to explain, for those that don't know, I studied communications, and that's the industry I work in, especially digital communication. And a platform like WhatsApp is such a perfect case study. So for those that don't know, WhatsApp is a messaging platform that's very popular in Africa and I think Asia as well. And what people, or most people, don't know is that WhatsApp was actually never promoted. WhatsApp grew through word of mouth, and that's the power of word of mouth. It's one of the biggest social media or communications platforms in the world. Now, when we come into communications as a study or a field, there are different types of media. Now, this is more specifically for digital media. We have paid, owned, and earned media. Paid media is media that an organization will pay for. That's social media ads, TV commercials, and even billboards. Where owned media is the media that an organization owns. Their websites, their organic social media posts, so the posts they put themselves on social media, and their newsletter. These are just a few examples. Then lastly, we have earned media. This is media an organization actually earns. It's done through exposure that they gain organically through word of mouth, shares, reviews, or even media coverage, for example. Now, word of mouth is one of the strongest form of media. Think about it. If someone who you trust and know tells you, hey, here's a product, try it out, you're most likely to try it out because you know this person and you trust this person. And the Jehovah's Witnesses did not account for this. Most of the time when word of mouth takes place, it comes with a testimonial. Someone will explain how it works. Someone will even vouch for it. And most of the time, it's from a reliable source, as mentioned, someone that you know. So when people speak negatively about the Jehovah's Witnesses, it's probably someone you know. It's probably someone who you've built a rapport with, because we don't necessarily go around just bad-mouthing religions and whatever the case may be, especially if you're part of it. Most of the time, it takes us a long while to say, hey, I was actually part of the Jehovah's Witnesses. I know for me, it's something I find actually very embarrassing. So when I tell someone, yeah, I used to be a Jehovah's Witness, I have built some form of comfortability or just rapport or just something with you. Like, we've been in a conversation reputation is what I'm saying. I'll never just approach a random stranger and say, hey, the Jehovah's Witnesses, blah, blah, blah. No. For people to speak negatively about the Jehovah's Witnesses, that is actually a very, very powerful thing, because most of the time the person you're telling will probably believe you. You've built some form of relationship, and that spreading through word of mouth has definitely destroyed the Jehovah's Witnesses and their reputation. Like, people are very much aware of the Jehovah's Witnesses. Like, I see it in the comment section. I'll see people say, hey, I actually was not part of the Jehovah's Witnesses, but this religion is so dangerous. When my aunt joined this religion, she completely changed. Or someone will say, yeah, I married someone and they became a Jehovah's Witnesses and this took place. Like, so many people who are not part of the Jehovah's Witnesses already have a story about this religion. So word of mouth is truly spreading, and very much rapidly. And the Jehovah's Witnesses, again, could not have accounted or even saw this coming, especially with social media as well. As we are communicating like this, I'm talking to you guys and you guys are watching. This is also still a form of word of mouth, I'm guessing. Because I'm talking to you guys, we've built a relationship, and some of you do trust me. So when I tell you that the Jehovah's Witnesses are a dangerous religion, it is the truth, because I will not come here and lie, and I'll bring the facts as well. I think it's safe to say that they did not account for the power of word of mouth and how it would actually affect their reputation, coupled up with how they're being perceived on social media, news outlets, and how they're being portrayed as well. Not just perceived, but portrayed. And yeah, it's going to be very much interesting in 2025 and the coming years to see just how things play out. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.